Babes, happy Thursday. We love you, we see you. And babes, don't forget you're intelligent queens. And, well, if you are a king, you are an intelligent king.
Okay.
We don't discriminate, babes. This show is for the gals, the guys, the hays, and the days.
And let me tell you, the vibes in the studio today are just immaculate. Like, the mojitos are officially on deck.
Yes, they are.
But we couldn't just do a standard mint and lime situation for a Thursday recap. I mean, we elevated them.
We took it to the next level.
We really did. We added fresh mango, a little bit of agave, and yes, we threw them directly into the Ninja slush machine.
Oh my gosh, I am fully convinced that with this machine, we have just invented summer.
It is a masterpiece of modern beverage engineering.
It really is. I mean, look at this consistency. It is giving 5-star luxury resort cabana in Cabo.
Totally.
But it brings up this fascinating psychological question for me. Like, why is it that frozen drinks automatically feel infinitely more expensive than drinks served over ice?
Oh, that is such a good question.
Right. It's like the second a liquid is pulverized into a slush, my tax bracket just goes up.
I think it's the texture, but it's also, like, the implication of effort, you know?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, it implies machinery and culinary infrastructure that the average person doesn't just casually possess.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Like you need specialized gear.
Exactly. I feel like a snobby professional mixologist right now for absolutely no reason.
You literally are.
I find myself judging the viscosity of the mango puree. I'm analyzing the ice crystal formation. I mean, the Ninja slush machine has fundamentally changed my brain chemistry.
I am deeply emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, if there was a fire, I am grabbing the slush machine before I grab my designer bags.
I would judge you if you didn't.
Thank you. Because every single liquid tastes better frozen. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Oh, I agree.
Like water, better frozen, coffee, frappuccino, immediately better. This mango mojito, it is literally a vacation in a glass.
It really is.
I feel like I need a massive, completely impractical sun hat just to sit here and record this episode of The Snark Side.
You're practically glowing. I think it's the frozen mango.
I will take that compliment.
But honestly, speaking of luxury and, elevating our tax brackets and navigating these complex social strata, we desperately need to talk about the absolute spiral that is currently happening in our personal lives.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The Snark Squad needs to know about the gala.
They need to know. Okay, so I have to share this with you all because I feel like I have officially reached peak adulthood. I have ascended to a new demographic.
You really have.
Our friend Khadijat, who, by the way, is a dentist, and honestly, we desperately need more non-dentists in our lives, but
Yeah.
we love her. Anyway, she invited us to a fertility gala.
A fertility gala. I just want everyone to let those words wash over you.
It is so intense.
The juxtaposition of those two concepts. When Khadijat texted us, I physically stopped in my tracks.
I gasped.
Right. I mean, I'm treating this purely like anthropological research to study the wealthy and their natural habitat. Same.
But what is the sociological protocol here? Like, what is the dress code for a fertility gala?
I have no idea.
Do we wear eggshell white? Are there going to be massive ice sculptures shaped like fallopian tubes? What exactly are we walking into?
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm saying. Like, what actually happens at a fertility gala? Does this mean we are classy now? Are we officially in our society women era?
God, I hope so.
I am just imagining rich, elegant people networking around champagne towers, delicately discussing IVF grants and international surrogacy laws while wearing silk bias-cut gowns.
The imagery is stunning.
Right. I am already mentally planning my high-fashion gala outfits. Do I need elbow-length gloves? Do I need a fascinator?
You absolutely do not need a fascinator.
Great, why not?
This is a Thursday night in June, not the Royal Ascot.
Okay, rude but fair.
But that raises an interesting point about the sociology of the elite. Like, is this just how ultra-rich people spend their Thursdays?
It must be.
They just go to cause-specific galas on a random weeknight? I mean, adulthood suddenly feels so incredibly strange. It really does.
One minute you're eating instant ramen over the sink on a Tuesday, and the next you're stressing over whether your silk slip dress is appropriate for a fertility-themed charity ball.
The whiplash is real. I just want to seamlessly blend into high society.
Good luck, Abed.
No, I do. I want to hold a couped glass of champagne because flutes are out, coupes are in, and laugh softly at a joke a hedge fund manager makes, and just pretend we belong in elite social circles.
You are romanticizing this so hard.
I think we could do it. I really do. If I focus,
Yeah.
I am fully convinced we could blend in.
I have to violently disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm absolutely certain we would both embarrass ourselves within 5 seconds of walking in.
No, we wouldn't.
We absolutely, you're going to get way too excited about the miniature hors d'oeuvre.
Okay, true.
And I'm going to make a deeply inappropriate, medically inaccurate joke about someone's aesthetic enhancements, and we will be politely but firmly escorted out by private security.
Okay, when you put it like that.
We are not society women. We are pop culture snarkers with a slushy machine.
Stop. We can learn. We are adaptable.
Are we, though?
Yes. In fact, I was telling you earlier, I think we might need to binge all of Ladies of London beforehand just to emotionally prepare for the fanciness.
Oh, brilliant idea.
We can study Caroline Stanbury. We can learn the mechanics of class and elegance from reality television.
Oh, yes, because pretending Bravo's educational programming has always worked out so flawlessly for society.
I mean, it's field research.
Right, like, yes, Your Honor, I learned my conflict resolution from the women who threw glass wine goblets at each other in Amsterdam.
It's valid.
But honestly, I love this delusion for us. We're going to try to be elegant women, and we will absolutely update the Snark Squad after the gala in June.
Swear. We promise to bring back all the messy high society gossip. We will give you the full breakdown of the fashion, the funding, and the faux pas.
Cannot wait for that.
But before we get to our reality TV spiral, we have to do our workday highs and lows because the Snark Squad loves the real-life mess too.
They live for it.
And we're keeping it strictly focused on coworker chaos and office dynamics today. No patient talk, just the pure, unadulterated madness of the corporate ecosystem.
I will start with my low, which is that I am actively trying and spectacularly failing not to get dragged into the office nonsense.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, the midweek exhaustion is just a tangible weight on my shoulders right now. I was literally just trying to heat up my sad little Tupperware lunch, right?
Yeah.
And I got trapped in the break room by two coworkers who are currently entrenched in passive-aggressive Cold War over who forgot to refill the coffee pods.
No, not the coffee pod war.
Yes. And they're attempting to use me as their UN ambassador, like making eye contact with me while making pointed remarks at each other.
Oh my gosh, the break room hostage situation, that is the absolute worst.
It is psychological torture.
The forced proximity of the corporate kitchenette is a breeding ground for psychological warfare. Exactly.
I get way too emotionally invested in the workplace vibes, though.
You really do.
Like, my high of the week is that I finally figured out who has been leaving the passive-aggressive sticky notes on the communal fridge.
Wait, you solved it?
I did a full FBI behavioral analysis.
I am terrified of you.
It's Linda from accounting.
Shut up.
How do you know? I matched the curvature of her lowercase g from a birthday card to the sticky note.
You are genuinely unwell.
The drama. I love knowing who is mad at whom, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with me.
You have a mental bulletin board with red yarn connecting everyone in your office.
I do. It's so fun.
You're mapping out the sociograms of middle management. Meanwhile, I just want to clock in, do my job, and pretend I don't know that Jim's wife is making him try a keto diet because he won't stop complaining about his lack of bread.
Poor Jim.
Right. The awkward run-ins in the hallway when you know someone's dark secret are just too much for my nervous system.
It's the spice of life. It's human connection.
We have very different definitions of connection. But hey, transitioning from the petty Cold Wars of the office to the absolute scorched earth psychological warfare of reality television.
Oh, yes.
Pour us another frozen mango mojito. You need to aggressively pivot.
Way ahead of you. Pouring now.
As we watched Season 3, Episode 8 of The Valley, titled Misbehavior, and we are spiraling.
Fully spiraling.
We have to discuss this in excruciating detail because the vibe shift in this episode was something I have never seen on Bravo before.
Cheers to that. Let's set the scene and analyze the structural edit of this episode.
Yes, let's break it down.
They are in San Diego. It started as a fun, relatively harmless cast trip.
Right. Totally normal Bravo stuff.
We had the boys getting ready for a drag pageant. It was given that classic, lighthearted, performative reality TV fluff.
Exactly.
And then the tone shifted so violently, without any musical cue to warn us, that it turned into a terrifying psychological thriller.
It really did.
I'm talking dark, visceral, uncomfortable television.
It was so dark. We have to start with the initial confrontation.
We absolutely do.
We are talking about the complete unmasking of Danny Booko and Lala Kent, using her very specific aggressive energy for good.
A rare moment.
But first, a mandatory phonetic PSA for the Snark Squad.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Her name is pronounced Nia, not Nia, Nia.
Thank you.
It is a fundamental microaggression when people, especially people who claim to be fans or friends, consistently refuse to learn how to pronounce someone's name.
It really is.
It's a power play, whether it's conscious or not.
Put some respect on Nia's name.
The refusal to learn a phonetic pronunciation is rooted in pure narcissism.
100%.
So let's break down the geography of the scene. Lala is in the adjacent room, and she hears Danny aggressively berating Nia over a synthetic wig.
A wig.
A cheap wig. He isn't just annoyed. He is using a tone designed to belittle and shrink his partner.
He was so condescending.
And Lala, who we know does not abide by traditional polite society rules, steps in. She breaches the privacy of their conflict.
Which honestly, thank God. She literally tells him, knock it off, dude. I'm not effing with you. Don't do that.
Yo.
And Danny, operating from a place of infinite fragile masculinity, smirks at her and tells her she's triggered.
I was yelling at my television. The audacity to deploy therapy buzzwords to mock someone, calling them triggered, when you are literally throwing a red-faced temper tantrum over a piece of synthetic hair.
The irony is lost on him.
But what truly broke my heart, and what I want us to dissect, was watching Nia's reaction.
It was hard to watch.
Because Nia immediately goes into a textbook trauma response.
Yes.
Specifically, the fawn response.
Yes. Let's unpack the mechanics of the fawn response for a second, because it was playing out in real time.
Please do.
Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fawning is a survival mechanism where instead of fighting back or running away, a person tries to appease their aggressor to avoid further conflict.
Right.
They abandon their own boundaries to coddle the person who is hurting them.
Exactly. You can see the gears turning in her head. She is desperately trying to manage his emotions for him.
She is working overtime.
She starts using this highly clipped, HR-approved therapy speak to try and de-escalate him, basically trying to hack his nervous system to keep herself safe in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
She literally says to him, I can tell you shifted your energy and I appreciate it. I love you.
And how did he respond?
And he just ice cold snaps back, don't talk to me like that.
And then this is where I'm going to push back slightly on the pure victim narrative, not to blame Nia, but to look at the ecosystem of their marriage.
Okay, what do you mean?
The Reddit threads were analyzing this dynamic heavily.
The snarkers are always on it.
Always. Fans online have pointed out that their dynamic heavily mirrors these toxic trad wife aesthetics, where the woman is expected to manage the man's emotional state while maintaining a flawless exterior.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
User BeachBum135 said Nia has to talk to Danny like a baby. And user None of This Matters XO pointed out that Nia acts as Danny's mother, his PR manager, and his therapist, and it looks exhausting.
It does look exhausting.
By fawning, she is actively enabling his infantilization.
I see what you're saying, but I have to argue that it's purely a survival tactic, not a calculated enabling.
You think so?
I really do. She has a pageant background. Pageant training is essentially learning how to keep a radiant, serene smile plastered on your face, no matter how much physical or emotional discomfort you are in.
That is a very valid point.
She has been conditioned to smooth things over. But Lala, and thank God for Lala, is the only one with the guts to shatter this fortress.
Absolutely.
The Sanchez Booko family has spent years curating this image of the perfect, faithful, traditional family unit. They operate on the premise of keep the mess behind closed doors.
Which is the exact antithesis of reality television.
Literally the opposite.
Lala operates as the Avenger here. She uses her aggressive confrontational style to go after awful men, and in this specific environment, it is a superpower.
It really is.
When she was debriefing with the girls later and called Danny a Polly Pocket-sized problem, it was brilliant.
Iconic phrasing.
But if we connect this to the broader picture of Bravo history, we're talking the pantheon of terrible men like Jax Taylor, Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz.
Mount Rushmore of Bravo villains.
Exactly. Danny Booko has just skyrocketed past all of them to the top of the nefarious Bravo Boys Club.
Wait, you think he's worse than Sandoval? Sandoval blew up a decade-long relationship on national television.
I do think he's worse, and here is why.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sandoval is driven by ego and a desperate need for validation. Danny is driven by control.
Oh, wow.
What we saw from Danny wasn't just messy reality TV cheating drama. It was deep psychological control and a demand for submission. That is far more insidious than a midlife crisis affair.
That is a terrifying but incredibly accurate point.
Thank you.
The underlying control is palpable. But amidst all this darkness, the producers give us this jarring, almost surreal juxtaposition.
The pageant.
The Miss Valley drag pageant.
Incredible transition.
The setup is pure visual absurdity. Jasmine, Melissa, and Benji are the judges. The men are getting ready. It's supposed to be a moment of levity.
Oh, we have to roast these looks.
Please.
Because what a man chooses to do when asked to perform femininity tells you everything you need to know about his comfort with his own masculinity.
Preach.
Let's start with Schwartz as misjudged in that blue ball gown and the blonde wig.
It was a disaster.
The fan commentary on this was ruthless and surgically precise. One commenter said he looked like a melted Courtney Love.
Spot on.
My personal favorite observation was that he was giving Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys in a dress.
Stop. I am crying.
The thick glasses paired with the cheap synthetic wig. It was a tragic misunderstanding of drag.
So tragic. It was like he was actively trying to make himself look repulsive as a defense mechanism.
Exactly. Hide behind the ugly.
And then Jesse is Mr. Wino in that gold jumpsuit.
Oh my God.
He literally lost a shoe walking down the runway. He was stumbling around like a toddlers and tiaras contestant who missed their nap time.
He physically could not handle the architecture of the heels.
But then you had Luke as mistaken, and honestly, we have to give credit where credit is due.
We do.
He looked genuinely glamorous. He was giving peak 90s Nicole Kidman in Practical Magic.
The wig styling was suspiciously good. He understood the assignment.
He really did.
Zach, as Miss Petty, however, was operating on a completely different intellectual level.
He brought it.
He was giving full Susan Sarandon drag. He invested in a massive theatrical breastplate, an aggressive red lip, and he knew exactly how to carry the physical weight of the costume.
And finally, we have Danny.
Oh, Dan!
As Misunderstood, which is just a hilariously ironic title, given his absolute lack of self-awareness.
The irony is thick.
He had his dress tucked into his black underpants, aggressively flashing the room.
It was not an exploration of gender expression.
Not at all.
It was giving frat boy on a 3-day bender, mocking the concept of women.
It was so deeply uncomfortable. And then the results happen, and we get this full Steve Harvey Miss Universe moment where Nia accidentally crowned Zach as the winner, but it was actually Luke who won.
Classic mix-up.
In any other episode, that would be the hilarious climax. It was a funny, lighthearted, producer-driven moment, but then the vibe completely shifts again.
So fast.
The dark turn happens. We have to talk about the physical altercation, the creepy climax.
The breastplate smack.
Yes.
Let's really break down the physicality of this moment. Danny gets visibly agitated, his body language completely changes, and he violently smacks Zach's fake breastplate.
It was wild.
It was not a playful tap, it was a strike with intent.
Yep.
User IceB6ton2 on Reddit analyzed this perfectly, stating, Danny slapping the chest piece so nonchalantly, like that is telling. And while they are fake, it shows that he has learned nothing about respecting other people's bodies.
I physically shuddered when I watched that scene.
Same.
It felt so incredibly scary and so real. You could see the raw, unedited anger radiating off of him.
It was bursting out.
And what is so disturbing is the displacement of that aggression. He is angry, and he chooses to take it out physically on an object that represents female anatomy attached to another man.
It's loaded with subtext.
The aggression was palpable through the screen.
You have to read the room and look at the historical context of the cast here.
Okay, what's context?
The utter sickening irony of this specific, physically aggressive behavior toward female anatomy coming from a man who famously dated Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Right. He has lived his life adjacent to the tabloids. He has seen how women in the media are treated as disposable physical objects. He knows exactly how this industry works, and yet he is completely comfortable exhibiting this deeply problematic, aggressive behavior on camera.
It's disgusting.
It shows a fundamental lack of respect.
Which brings us to the outdoor argument, the microphones, and the descent into darkness.
The scariest part of the episode.
This is where the episode crosses from uncomfortable into genuinely disturbing. Nia tries to talk to Danny outside to de-escalate the situation away from the group.
She tries to manage him again.
She calmly, so calmly, explains that his energy was bad and it was affecting the vibe of the house. And he immediately deploys classic gaslighting tactics.
It is a textbook execution of Darvo.
What does that stand for again?
Deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender.
Yes, exactly.
First, he denies he did anything wrong, blaming his behavior on his competitiveness. Then, he attacks her, yelling at her for raising her voice when she wasn't raising her voice at all.
She was whispering.
He says, "Don't raise your voice at me." That is a manipulative tactic designed to make the calm person feel like they are being irrational.
So twisted.
By accusing her of yelling, he forces her to defend her tone rather than holding him accountable for his actions.
And then the mic terror.
Oh, God.
Danny physically grabs her and drags her inside under the guise of helping her take off her makeup.
Such a thin excuse.
She looks at her with this cold, dead stare, like the mask completely slips, and says, "I can't believe you said that shit."
Meaning, I can't believe you dared to bring up your genuine feelings in front of other people.
Yes. And Nia's response is the most telling part of the entire series.
It really is.
She reminds him they are mice.
Let's really analyze the philosophy of the microphone in reality television.
Let's do it.
Usually the mic is seen as an intrusion. It's the panopticon. It's the surveillance state that reality stars try to escape to have private moments.
Right, they're always trying to cover their mics.
But Nia is using her hyper-awareness of the cameras differently. She keeps her mic on as a literal physical shield.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like she intuitively knows that as long as Bravo production can hear the audio feed, he cannot unleash the full extent of his wrath.
She is so smart for that.
She is weaponizing the fourth wall as a protective barrier against her own husband. She knows the audio is her only witness.
It's chilling. The internet sleuths picked up on the terrifying implications of this immediately.
What were they saying?
User Tamakubrick captured the collective anxiety perfectly, saying, Danny telling Nia to take her mic off and talk behind some shack. Dude is seriously unhinged and needs help ASAP. Beyond eerie. I hope that woman's okay.
They nailed it.
He demands she remove the recording device so he can verbally discipline her in private without consequence. Ugh, my stomach hurts thinking about it.
And the cinematic choice by the editors, the sheer horror of the camera fading to blackness as they go into their room, leaving us only with the muffled audio.
It was so dark.
Didn't feel like Bravo. It felt like true crime footage.
It really did. I genuinely could not sleep after watching it. My nervous system was shot. I was so stressed for her safety.
Totally understandable.
And then we get to the next morning, and this is the ultimate jaw drop of the entire franchise.
The morning after.
We have to unpack the morning after delusion, because the next morning, Nia is the one who apologizes to Danny.
I wanted to throw my slushie directly at the television screen.
Oh, I was screaming.
The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Nia apologizes for bringing things up on camera.
She takes all the blame.
She absorbs the blame to stabilize the ecosystem of their marriage.
Yeah.
And Danny gives this pathetic, half-assed, PR-scripted apology, blaming his behavior entirely on the alcohol.
Oh, I had one too many. My fuse is short. Let's be very clear about the pharmacology of alcohol. Alcohol removes the filter. It does not invent the personality.
Say it again for the people in the back.
It simply reveals the underlying architecture of your character.
Exactly. It lowers inhibitions. It doesn't plant new thoughts in your head.
Precisely.
And then Lala, who is surprisingly trying to be a genuinely good friend in her own confrontational Lala way, checks in on Danny.
A rare soft moment for Lala.
She approaches him calmly and tells him gently, "Hey, you turn into a different person when you drink."
And how did he take it?
And Danny gets instantly aggressively defensive. The wall goes right back up. He hits her with "I rarely drink," and then immediately runs to his confessional interview to tell Lala to mind her own business.
The sheer cowardice is astounding. He cannot handle a single ounce of accountability.
None at all.
And let me drop a little real-world off-camera receipt here for the Snark Squad to chew on.
Oh, please do. Give us the receipts.
Danny is such a coward that he completely bailed on his scheduled Watch What Happens live appearance this week.
No way.
Yes way. He was supposed to be live in the clubhouse with Andy Cohen, taking calls from fans, and he backed out at the last minute to avoid answering for this exact behavior.
That is so weak.
He knows the fans are dissecting the footage, he knows the traditional Family Man edit is dead and buried, and he physically cannot handle the heat of public accountability.
Wow. Dropping the WWHL receipts, that is so telling. He knows he has no defense, he cannot spin this.
Yep.
But shifting gears from a terrifying man to a deeply irritating woman? Let's pivot to the garden sit-down.
Oh, Janet.
Because Janet's fake apology arc is actively taking years off my life.
Let's unpack the weaponization of femininity in this scene.
Ooh, I love that phrasing.
Janet pulls Nia outside to apologize for all the machinations and mess from last year, and I have to call out Janet's vocal performance here.
The voice.
She adopts this annoying, manufactured, soft, demure voice. It is such a highly calculated, transparent redemption arc.
He was so fake.
She is purposely lowering her vocal register, speaking slower, softening her posture. She is trying to project this delicate, soft girl aesthetic so the audience will subconsciously view her as harmless and forgive her.
It's manipulative tone policing of herself.
Hmm.
But I was cheering so loudly for Nia in this moment
Nia handled it perfectly.
because Nia completely stonewalls her.
Yeah.
Nia looks at her with perfect, unbothered pageant posture and plainly says she feels indifferent.
Iconic. Indifferent. I don't think people realize how devastating that word is.
It is the ultimate insult.
The absolute worst thing you can say to a narcissist on reality TV is that you do not care about them at all. Hate is a strong emotion. It means you care. Indifference means they do not exist to you.
Exactly.
Nia methodically calls out Janet's repeated pattern of behavior, basically saying, you aren't sorry you hurt me, you're just sorry the fans hate you this season.
It was a masterclass in boundary setting.
It really was.
But the rationality didn't last because immediately after, we get the geriatric pregnancy spiral.
Oh my gosh, this conversation. Janet and Jason are having a seemingly normal conversation about baby number 2, and Janet starts intensely complaining that she's entering the geriatric pregnancy zone.
Okay, let's just pause.
Let's ground ourselves in reality here. Her first baby is only 2 years old.
Literally.
She's acting like she's researching assisted living facilities.
It was so dramatic.
However, Jason brings up adoption, which was actually a really poignant moment, noting his dad and his mom's siblings were adopted. It was a rare, grounded conversation for this show.
It was sweet.
Yeah.
But the normality was fleeting, because then we get the basketball tragedy.
A tragedy.
The guys go to the local park to play what is supposed to be a casual pickup game of basketball to blow off steam. And Jason pops his knee, falls to the concrete, and literally cannot get up.
It looked so painful.
It was awful, the pain was obvious, and Bravo Production had to step in and call an actual ambulance.
I mean, on a human level, it is terrible he suffered a severe injury, but from a media analysis perspective, the visual framing was pure comedy.
It really was.
First of all, let's look at the sociology of the bystander effect in the smartphone era.
Okay.
You have Tom Schwartz, who, instead of offering medical assistance, immediately whips out his iPhone and starts filming Jason writhing in absolute agony on the concrete.
Like, put the phone down.
Who does that? It is the ultimate reality TV brain rot, content over compassion.
Totally.
And second, the snark online was ruthless. User Grey Coast TV summarized the visual perfectly, saying, "Camera's filming a bunch of old dorks suck at basketball, lol."
That is so mean, but so true.
It was just the most pathetic, humbling visual of middle-aged reality stars getting rushed to the ER over a casual park game.
The reality of aging hits hard on the pavement. My favorite online comment about that whole sequence was from someone who said there are two distinct types of Americans.
Oh, what are?
Those who wait for an ambulance for a sprained knee, and those who would army crawl to their Honda Civic with 2 broken legs to avoid the medical billing.
I am absolutely the latter. Same. I would be dragging my torso to the urgent care in the back of an UberX before I let an ambulance take me.
100%. The copay alone.
Right.
Plus, I am not letting Bravo film me getting loaded into an ambulance strapped to a gurney for a recreational basketball injury. The sheer unadulterated humiliation of it all.
It's too much.
But speaking of humiliation, the true embarrassment of the episode belongs to the lunch of lies and the blatant reveal of the alliance.
Oh my gosh, the absolute socio-political tension at this lunch. The setup is brilliant. We have Lala, Kristen, Brittany, and Zach.
A recipe for disaster.
4 incredibly volatile, massive personalities forced to sit at one table and consume overpriced salads. Brittany kicks it off with a life update on Cruz, claiming he is progressing beautifully and thriving now that Jax is out of the house.
Which, honestly, from a human perspective, good for her and good for Cruz.
Absolutely.
Getting that chaotic, toxic energy out of a child's environment has to be a profound relief.
Entirely. The nervous system of that household must finally be regulating.
But then the conversation shifts, and the profound, impenetrable delusion of Kristen Doute takes center stage.
Here we go.
Lala brings up Danny's verbal abuse from the night before, seeking validation for what she witnessed. And Kristen, who possesses fully functioning eyes and ears and was literally present in the house during the trip, completely denies ever seeing any aggressive behavior.
She just gaslights everyone.
And then she drops arguably the most unhinged, philosophically baffling quote of the entire season.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I was pacing around my living room. She looks Lala dead in the eye and says she models her relationship after Danny and Nia, and believes fundamentally that you shouldn't air dirty laundry.
I could not process the cognitive dissonance.
Right. Kristen Doute, the woman whose entire decade-long career, whose entire financial empire and personal brand is built exclusively on airing dirty laundry on national television.
She literally made millions off her own messy breakups.
Since when is she the spokesperson for suppressing domestic conflicts? Why is she suddenly acting like hiding emotional abuse in the dark is relationship goals?
It is the ultimate weaponized delusion.
It really is.
To look at a man actively screaming at his wife to take off a microphone so he can verbally abuse her without a paper trail and say, wow, relationship goals, I want that. It requires a complete detachment from reality.
Completely detached.
But it's not just delusion, it's a calculated, self-produced machination. Lala, who understands the mechanics of reality TV better than anyone, clocked it immediately.
Lala always knows.
This is the obvious, unspoken alliance. Fans have been theorizing about this for weeks.
What's the theory?
Kristen, Luke, Nia, and Danny have clearly formed a pact to cover for each other, hide their real issues, and self-produce a sanitized image for the audience.
And it is actively ruining the integrity of the show.
It really is.
The fundamental social contract of reality TV requires messy transparency. If you're going to form a secret alliance to hide your real life and only present a curated traditional facade, go audition for a scripted drama.
Go to the Hallmark Channel.
Exactly. And the audience sees right through the subterfuge. Even celebrities are calling it out.
Oh, the Seth Rogen moment.
Yes. You mentioned Seth Rogen earlier. He was a guest on WWHL, and he went on a brilliant tangent, entirely agreeing that the cast, specifically people like Janet and Jason, are operating as massive hypocrites.
He was spot on.
They draw this hard, moralistic line in the sand regarding Danny's behavior, but they actively, enthusiastically support Jax, who has been a documented toxic menace on television for over 10 years.
The hypocrisy is off the charts. They are applying moral standards selectively based on who is useful to them in the caste hierarchy.
It's all about status.
Seth Rogen validating our exact snark on national television is everything. But the lunch scene doesn't end with Kristen's delusion, because Zach, glorious, messy, chaotic Zach, decides to pivot the entire conversation and actively target Brittany.
I love Zach.
He looks at her and calmly tells her she constantly makes insidious little digs at Nia behind her back.
Zach just effortlessly, surgically stirring the pot. He was like, actually, let's stop talking about Danny's anger issues and talk about your two-faced behavior, Brittany.
And Brittany's fight or flight response activates immediately.
Oh, she lost it.
She completely flips out. She denies it, her face gets bright red, and she deploys the most classic, outdated reality TV defense mechanism.
The dramatic exit.
Yes. She literally storms out of the restaurant screaming that she's never talking about them again. It was the perfect chaotic crescendo to a deeply unsettling episode.
She folded immediately under the pressure of accountability. The storm out is such a vintage Bravo move.
It's so 2012.
So looking at this absolute circus of a cast, with their alliances, their delusions, and their performative behaviors, it naturally brings us to a crucial debate.
Let's get into the segments.
Segment 1. Who would thrive at the gala? Based on the etiquette, poise, and survival skills we just witnessed, who from this specific cast could actually survive Khadijat's fancy fertility gala?
Oh, this is a great question.
Who could walk into a room of elegant society people and not immediately be identified as an imposter?
Well, who is your pick?
Okay, I have thought deeply about this. I am going to passionately argue that Nia would thrive in that environment.
Really, Nia?
Hear me out. Yes, her personal life is currently a dark psychological thriller, but we just spent 20 minutes dissecting her fawn response in her pageant training.
True.
She has a literal PhD in faking a serene smile through absolute misery. She understands the architecture of a formal gown, she knows how to stand up straight, and she is an expert at delivering polite, meaningless, perfectly calibrated small talk to wealthy strangers.
I mean, you make a compelling case.
She would blend right in. She would be discussing the weather with a venture capitalist within 5 minutes.
That is a very strong sociological argument. The pageant training is basically sociopathic survival skills for high society. You are not wrong.
Thank you. Who is your pick?
But I'm going to argue that Jesse would actually thrive.
Jesse, the guy who lost the shoe in the pageant.
Hear me out. Not because he possesses genuine class or elegance, but because he is a shark who loves networking and aggressively pretending to be richer than he actually is.
Oh, he definitely does that.
He thrives on proximity to wealth. He would be handing out matte black luxury real estate business cards to every reproductive endocrinologist in the room.
Oh, he absolutely would. He would be cornering someone near the ice sculpture, trying to sell them a $10 million brutalist concrete house in the Hollywood Hills.
Exactly. He is a relentless hustler, and high society respects the hustle if it's dressed in a tailored suit.
That's fair.
However, I have to add a critical caveat to my own argument.
What's as a caveat?
His new girlfriend, Lacey, has this beautiful, open, palpable contempt for him that Lala correctly clocked earlier in the season.
She really does hate him.
If Lacey is his +1 to the gala, she would completely ruin his networking vibe by just audibly rolling her eyes at everything he says and refusing to play the supportive partner role.
She would humble him immediately.
And obviously, Tom Schwartz is at the absolute bottom of the list.
Oh, without a doubt.
He would show up in orthotic slide sandals, mumble something incoherent, and immediately spill a dark-colored signature cocktail on the host's silk dress.
Schwartz would somehow accidentally shatter the fallopian tube ice sculpture within 30 seconds of arrival.
He is a walking hazard.
But this whole conversation about blending in and pretending to be something you're not brings us to segment 2. Biggest delusion of the episode.
There are so many to choose from.
Because the levels of cognitive dissonance on this show are staggering. If we had to pinpoint the single biggest, most dangerous self-delusion shown during this entire hour of television, what is it?
It was an absolute buffet of delusion. The psychological gymnastics were Olympic level. What is your pick?
For me, it has to be the mechanics behind Nia apologizing to Danny.
Yes.
The absolute reality-bending delusion that she was somehow the primary aggressor, that she was at fault when he was the one terrorizing her and dragging her into a dark room all night.
That's tragic.
Her brain physically having to rewrite the narrative to protect him and say, I'm sorry I brought up my feelings at the wrong time, is just so sad and so deeply delusional. It is a protective delusion necessary for her survival in that marriage, but a massive delusion nonetheless.
It's the fawn response finalizing its cycle. It's heartbreaking to witness.
It really is.
But my pick for the most egregious offensive delusion is absolutely Kristen Doute.
I knew you were going to pick her.
To sit at a table in the glaring California sun, listen to your friend meticulously describe a husband verbally abusing his wife and demanding she remove her microphone, and your authentic response is, I model my relationship after them.
It's insane.
The complete, total detachment from objective reality required to say that out loud on camera, knowing the historical footage exists of how they actually interact, well, it's staggering.
She is just ignoring the facts.
It's Kristen Doute operating at her highest frequency of chaos. She is actively rejecting reality to maintain a storyline.
She is living in an alternate dimension. And it ties perfectly into how they all perform for the cameras.
Which brings us to segment 3.
Yes. Luxury lifestyle rankings.
Yeah.
Because everyone on this show is desperately trying to project an image of being elite, settled, and luxurious, but the reality is deeply fractured.
Deeply.
If we are ranking who is truly embodying a luxury lifestyle versus who is just giving performative chaos, where do we start?
We have to start at the absolute bottom tier, the sub-basement of luxury, the gutter.
Who is it?
And that belongs entirely without question to Danny Booko.
Absolutely.
Tucking a synthetic pageant dress into your tighty whities, chugging cheap beer while radiating rage, and aggressively smacking fake breaths is the absolute antithesis of luxury.
It's the opposite of luxury.
It is the opposite of the high society image he is desperately trying to project. It is giving sweaty frat house basement at 3 a.m. There is zero elegance in a lack of emotional
A
regulation.
negative luxury. A complete void of class. Okay, moving up to the mid-tier, the aspirational middle ground, I am putting Janet here.
Janet. Interesting.
She is really, really trying. She is attempting to orchestrate this classy, soft-spoken English garden apology scene. She's got the expensive under-eye masks. She's speaking in lowercase letters. She's trying to manufacture a serene environment.
Trying being the operative word.
But it completely backfires and falls flat because her underlying energy is still so deeply manipulative and calculating. It's performative softness, which is not true luxury.
Performative softness is such a brilliant way to describe it. It's exactly like buying a counterfeit luxury handbag.
Exactly.
Looks the part from 20 feet away, but the second you get close, you see the stitching is uneven and the hardware is cheap plastic. It lacks authenticity.
Nailed it.
Now, for the top tier of luxury lifestyle, and this might sound controversial to the casual viewer, but hear me out. It is Zach Wickham.
I knew you were going to say that, and I completely agree.
Zach, in full, heavy Susan Sarandon drag, effortlessly starting massive foundational drama at a lunch table, and then just calmly sipping his iced drink and not caring at all while Brittany screams and storms out.
It was art.
Unbothered is the highest possible form of luxury. True luxury is not caring what other people think. He doesn't care about the manufactured alliance. He doesn't care about protecting terrible men. He is just existing in his own truth.
He is authentic.
The fans online are literally begging Bravo for a spinoff that is just Zach, Benji, Jesse, and Lacey. He is carrying the pure entertainment value of the show on his heavily padded shoulders.
He is the moment. Give Zach the crown permanently. Nia actually made the right choice the first time.
She really did.
All right, moving to segment 4. Bravo Etiquette School.
My favorite segment.
Looking at all these missteps, the storm outs, the terrible apologies. Well, if we were running a mandatory media and etiquette finishing school for reality stars who desperately needs intensive coaching based on this episode.
The dean of the school, the valedictorian of needing immediate intensive intervention, is Danny Booko.
He needs all the help.
He needs crisis PR training, etiquette training, and profound, deep psychological therapy. Because his fundamentalist adjacent strategy of hide the abuse off camera and pretend we are a perfect family is completely crumbling under the weight of reality television mechanics.
It doesn't work on Bravo.
He fundamentally does not understand that on a Bravo show, the cover-up is always, always worse than the crime.
Always.
If he had just apologized genuinely, on camera, in the moment, the storyline would be over. Instead, his desperate attempts to hide it are creating a permanent documentary of his own toxicity.
He is failing reality TV 101. He doesn't understand the medium he's working in.
Not at all.
For me, my prime enrollee for etiquette school is Brittany.
Oh, definitely.
She needs serious, modern media training on how to handle getting called out. You cannot just scream, "I'm never talking about them again," and physically run out of a restaurant every single time someone confronts you with your own verbatim quotes.
It's so embarrassing.
It makes you look incredibly guilty, it stops the scene dead, and it's a terrible, outdated media strategy. Take a breath, deflect, pivot the argument, or just own it.
Exactly. The modern reality TV audience respects ownership. Just say, you know what, Zach? I did say that. I meant it at the time, and I stand by it.
Yes. Own your villain era.
The dramatic, tearful storm out is so 2014 Bravo. We have moved past it. We need evolved, sophisticated conflict resolution.
We really do.
Okay.
My gosh, my heart rate is finally returning to a normal resting pace after dissecting that Danny and Nia footage.
It was a workout.
Thank you to the Snark Squad for hanging out with us during this absolute chaos of a spiral. We love exploring the dark psychology of Bravo with you.
It has been a profound journey. The slushy machine is empty, the tea has been thoroughly spilled, and the psychological receipts have been analyzed.
We left it all on the field.
But the conversation doesn't stop here because we need your input.
Yes. Babes, we need you in the comments right now. First of all, on a purely practical level, what on earth should we wear to the fertility gala?
We are desperate for fashion advice.
Do I go full sequins? Do I do a tasteful, tailored pantsuit? Please style us, because we are lost to the sociology of it all.
And tell us if utilizing a slushy machine for mojitos is elite behavior, or if I'm just a peasant easily impressed by kitchen appliances.
It is elite, but let them decide.
We also want to know your take. Which Bravo star from any franchise do you think would actually genuinely dominate high society?
Ooh, good question.
And finally, what is your absolute dream fancy event to attend? Is it the Met Gala? The Oscars, like a random Thursday night dental fertility ball? Let us know.
Yes, tell us everything. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a recap with us. We appreciate you so much.
It leaves you wondering, in an era where we all painstakingly curate our lives and our relationships for social media, are we all just taking off our mics in the dark? Think about that the next time you post a perfect family photo. As always, keep your mics on and your fake boobs protected.
Stay messy, stay classy, and we will see you on the smart side.